someone dropped into his room. So we'll just start, and if he can join, then he'll join in between. Okay.
Sure.
So, okay. So I hope like I'm audible to everyone else. If anyone wants to turn on their camera, feel free to do so. It's like it'll be good. I think we are a small group. We can have a good amount of interaction, discussion. As you already know, today's topic is actually best practices by IIT Kanpur. So IIT Kanpur, as many of you might know already, it has a good ecosystem of startups and the incubator. The which is most well known is the SIIC IIT Kanpur Incubation Center. There are a few more other initiatives which IIT Kanpur has been working towards. And today we have a speaker from us, Dr. Nikhil Agarwal. He is actually the CEO of SIIC and AIIT at IIT Kanpur, which he will talk about with us. He leads the largest tech incubator, which is the IIT Kanpur, with almost 300 plus startups. He's been formerly the CEO of C3 iHub, and he spearheaded a lot of cybersecurity initiatives with having managed almost 170 crore of grant. He has co-founded multiple initiatives, including one entrepreneur cafe. He's advised multinational organization, think tanks, etc. And he's actually a prolific researcher. He holds his PhD from University of Edinburgh, and he's actually a martial art follower and has a deep interest in martial arts also, right? So with that, over to you, Nikhil sir, and feel free to talk about your journey, and also like the journey that you are doing at SIIC IIT Kanpur and the overall ecosystem. The intent today behind today is that we have a lot of incubation centers with us. They have also been working towards and almost on the similar lines. So how they can learn from your IIT Kanpur's journey, and also you can also probably get to know some new things from them, right? So with that, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Vinay, and thanks. Always a pleasure to come back to AIM Forum. I have a very deep and emotional relationship with Atal Innovation Mission. When Atal Innovation Mission concept was written by Professor Tarun Khanna around 10 years back, and I was one of the recipient of adding some bits into it. Closely worked in the formation of AIM. It was not called AIM at that time. It was the Setu mission, and some of you may not know about the history of how the AIM was formed. So certainly worked very closely with Hemang Jani and Vinod Bavri, and in the initial years of AIM. So certainly, as I have said, very emotional and deep relationship, and many congratulations to AIM team for building up the organization what it is today. We have more number of AICs today than the normal incubators. So certainly the team has done a commendable job. Many congratulations. So Vinay has been quite generous in giving my introduction. So I'm more of a startup worker. So I always say that my Monday to Friday job is with the startup, and Saturday, Sunday hobbies with the startups. So my 7 days a week goes into the startup. Incidentally, today is a Mahashivratri. So happy Mahashivratri, and also the happy International Women's Day. So that is very interesting. Then Shivji and Women Day are following on the same day. So maybe there's the real Milan of Shiv Parvati Samagam that we say in the Hindu mythology, and how the science and spirituality is taking shape. The India is the best example for that. I'll give you a little bit of history of what we did at IIT Kanpur. Meanwhile, I'll share the slide. So it will be okay. So I have to open up the system setting to give the permission. The bear for a minute. WebEx permission. Okay. Okay, I have to quit and reopen the WebEx. So just give me 30 seconds because I think the permission was not there. So I may log off and log in again within 30 seconds. Give me a second.
So can you check now? I have made you co-host. You might be able to.
But my computer has not given the permission, so I have to.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Yeah. So to share the screen.
Sure.
Sure.
I have to exit and then log in again. Yes.
Sure, we'll hold off till that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Professor is joining. I just want to thank all the incubators to join in because it is a holiday in a lot of part of the country, and also wishing the women's joining here a very international Women's Day. One thing I would want to put out here is if anyone wants to host a Friday forum, they can also host it on like taking that ownership and hosting a Friday forum, and they can get in touch with either me or Vinay for the topic they want to present, and then we can line up the forum and the session with respect to the date. So I think Professor is back. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. Now I think
Yeah.
I can show the slide.
Yes,
Sorry about
please.
that.
No problem.
So, so I was telling about the history of SISE. Incidentally, the IIT Kanpur has a very unique position. So, number of institutions across the country, including IITs, have several incubators inside the institute. For example, IIT Delhi has 2, 3 incubators. I know IIT Madras definitely has 2, 3, 4 incubators. IIT Bombay also has several incubators. IIMs, other than IIM Ahmedabad, there are not many IIMs which have many successful incubators. IIM Lucknow is trying a bit, but IIT Kanpur deliberately we have kept only one incubator. So the SISC is the main TBI, and any other activity which is happening and anything to do with startups comes to SISC. So for example, cybersecurity, we are a TIH, which is Technology Innovation Hub. Many of your institution may be having a TIH, but the startup part of the TIH, which is incubating the cybersecurity companies, we hold it. So today we have the largest cybersecurity cohort in the world with 57 companies. So how all this started? Let us take a step back and explain a bit of history of SISC. So we started in 2002 approximately, where the UP government and SIDBI has given us a small grant of 5 crores to start the incubator. And till 2018, we were just a slow moving incubator like a Hindu growth with like barely few companies a year. 2019, there was a deliberate discussion about bringing the professionals into the incubation, creating a board, and we also set up a Section 8 company, which is what we call it FIRST, Foundation for Innovation, Science and Technology. And that was also a mandate from DST that you have to set up a separate entity as FIRST. We set up that entity. Incidentally, I also joined as a CEO in 2019. By the virtue of being the CEO of SIC, I am also the CEO of several other entities, which is Artificial Intelligence Center, Cybersecurity Center, 5G Center, MedTech Innovation Center. So everything, whatever is coming in, because we collectively hold everything under one is Section 8 company. We don't add on Section 8 company, so everything comes under the one entity. So that has given us a lot of leverage, like holding it everything in one go, whether it's from medical technologies, whether it's from cybersecurity, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's drone technology, everything. When we hold in one place, there is a lot of cross pollination happens, cross disciplinary activity that happens. And Incidentally, some watershed movement happened last year. We never expected it, that we were ranked #1 in NIRF category in innovation in India. It was quite, I would say, welcoming and humbling move for us. We never thought that we will be able to beat IIT Madras or IIT Bombay in terms of innovation, but the work that we were doing for last many years was piling on. And sometimes you are so involved in your working, you don't realize that you have done so much, and always you think that okay, there is more to do, more to do. And we compiled the data, we submitted to the government of India, and government of India recognized our effort, and we were given #1 rank. And since then, many things have changed. In 2019, when I joined, we were having barely 20 odd companies, and we were getting close to maybe 4 or 5 applications a month, or sometimes even lesser than that. Today, I'm very proud to say we receive close to 100 plus applications a month. Our rejection rate is almost similar to BTech of IIT Kanpur. We reject close to 98 or 99 companies a month. We select, we are selecting, we are extremely selective. We select only 1 or 2 startups. That still makes around 25 startups. Sometimes there are larger projects which comes in to us. Yesterday, as we speak, yesterday evening, we have launched one of the largest project ever in the Indian history. And I'm not joking. I'm not elaborating. I don't think that anyone in the history of India has done 75 startups in one go. So we have onboarded 75 startups yesterday evening. And that was a program done by the Citibank. Citibank has given us some money, and in 40 companies in agri-tech and 45 companies in clean tech, we have onboarded. And more than 907 applications were submitted. Eventually, we evaluated 627 applications physically. We have done 3 weeks of not just the hard work, it's a donkey's work. Practically, like some people working 20 hours a day for 3 weeks, evaluating company, talking to them on Zoom, and talking and finalizing. Then eventually 75 companies were onboarded, and we were having a launch event yesterday. So what we have today, in fact, this data will change a bit. We have now more than 200,000 square feet dedicated build-up space exclusively for SISC, is only for the incubator. So today, in fact, I'm very proud to say that we are larger in terms of footprint than many departments of IIT Kanpur. We are much larger. I will not like to name the departments, but we are much larger in terms of the geographic area that we have. Last year itself, 50 plus patents have been filed. The valuation of, this is the last year data. There's a little bit older slide, 2023, but now it is 2024. So the valuation of this company have changed dramatically, almost doubled of 1 billion. We have 300 plus incubated startups today. Like it was saying, 100 startups in pipeline. So 300 plus startups today we have. And under the SIIC, we have 4 Center for Excellence. And here, a few days back, we also got the DST MedTech COE. So that makes us 5 Center for Excellence under the SIIC. So it's a fairly large activity, I would say. And now by size wise, I would say in terms of employees and all, we are crossing 100 plus employees, and give away close to 150 crores, 160 crores worth of grants every year. Last year, we have helped 139 companies. We have given grant to 139 companies, to startups. It's not only just about the startup. So I never, a number of times when the new incubators comes to us and they say that, what is the meaning of incubation? So let me also, many of you are new incubators, you are setting up the new incubation. So you need to understand what is the meaning of incubation. There is a certain terms which are, I would say, synonymously used. Incubator, accelerator, scalator. Those terms are selectively and differently used. So you have to define your space. What is the meaning of incubator? How the incubator is successful? What is the success parameter of an incubator? So I'll define my own definition. You may agree or you may disagree about the definition. So the incubation is primarily on the 1 and 2 of this slide, which is ideation stage and a prototype stage. That is the main role of the incubator. So any company comes to you and they are looking for an ideation. They have a certain idea. You provide certain infrastructure to them in terms of office space. You can give access to the advantage with engineering colleges that we have many labs. So if they wish to work on technology, they wish to work on some prototype, certainly we can give them access. We also have a dedicated portfolio managers for every company. One portfolio manager typically will have around 7 to 10 companies. And there is a full mechanism that we have created that every week you have to speak to your companies, you have to identify challenges, what you're doing, what you're not doing. The second stage that comes in prototype stage. Now we give unparalleled access to IIT Kanpur lab facility to all the incubators, and we have a written policy around it. It's not just the unspoken policy. We have written in the policy that the IIT Kanpur startups will have similar access to the labs as a professor of IIT Kanpur. So there is no difference we create between a startup or a professor. So similar access we give. We have also more than 150 mentors which work with us closely. So there is a separate person who looks after mentor startup relationship. They continuously work with mentors, continuously work with startups and create these linkages. Now that is the main role of the incubator, ideation stage, prototype stage, and perhaps in the prototype stage, you can also look for MVP, minimum viable product, where you have created MVP, which you can test out with certain customer. Now that is your success of an incubator. Ideally, most of the incubators should stop there. We go a little further because it's been many years and we have now a little extra time and effort, and a lot of people talk to us. So we also go on scale up stage, and that too we started doing only 3 years back. So 3 years back, I created a separate department on scaling up the companies. So there is a dedicated department for investments. There is a 3 people team led by a assistant vice president and one manager and one junior person is exclusively looking for follow fundings for our startups. We have a dedicated department on the scale up side. We have a dedicated department led by our one PhD lady, Dr. Sanjita Chaudhary, and 2 more people on looking at the CSR grant for our startups. We have a dedicated department on IPR. We have a separate team for legal and finance and compliance giving for the startups. And if you look at all this number of people, we are talking about around 15 to 20 people. We have a media support team of 7 people. And there is a separate work that we do to raise mentorship, training support, and raise funds for the startups. And we also work with number of funds for a GTM and acceleration support, for example, Indian Angel Network or Mount Tech Ventures, or this and that. We work with them in providing GTM and acceleration support. Now, this is a stage of an advanced incubator. Once you reach to advanced level, and once you have a substantial companies to scale up, you have a substantial money in your bank where you can, because most of the work that I'm saying is it's not part of any project. So normally the money that you get from AIC or from DST or from even the private entities, you will not be able to support the salaries at the scale up stage. So you have to do only ideation stage and prototype stage, and that's your success ratio. And of course, in the future, if you have more energy and time, and you have enough money, you can go to the scale up stage, because scale up stage is the most difficult. You require number of people create good quality products, but very less of them are able to sell it. So there comes the success of the incubator. There comes success of We started working on 3 or 4 years back on a scale-up stage, and we have started founding success. The another thing what we started doing is to differentiate ourselves from other incubators, we started working on moonshots. And moonshot is not an idea that we initiated. In fact, on Niti Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission also started thinking about the moonshots, but we did that. So Devi Shetty, who is the chairman of the Narayan Hridayalaya, he came to IIT Kanpur a year and a half back. He said more than 60,000 people die on an absence of artificial heart, because artificial heart in India cost almost 2 crores. So how many people can afford artificial heart? There are not many. So they ask our people that, can you help us in creating an artificial heart which is affordable? So a couple of professors led by Professor Muralidhar took up the challenge and said, yeah, maybe it's possible. And that's where we are very proud of Indian engineering. Not only we created an artificial heart, now it is going into the clinical trial stage. In fact, it is going into the animal trial stage in another 2 months' time, and will enter into clinical trial stage in another 6 months' time. So we will have live patients using the artificial heart in few months' time. And the cost we are able to reduce from 2 crores to less than 10 lakh rupees. Now that was a moonshot, like how an engineering college can create a heart, and most of the people from engineering college have not seen the hospital. So we started working on, very closely we started working on with SDPGI, with KGMU, with other, or in Kanpur we have a medical college. There another discussion came out that can we create a miniature X-ray machine? If you go a little bit outside the big cities, there is patient who does not have access to the medical infrastructure because they cannot get a diagnosis. So we started miniaturizing certain things. So we create the Lenic technology, which we start working on it. It has created a camera which can take your X-ray. It's a completely safe camera. You can point it, you can click the X-ray, and it will upload into the cloud immediately. Anywhere in the world, the doctors can see the X-ray and give a diagnosis. Now that is a breakthrough. That of course there is a lot of medical technology as well as software technology which is used and built on a solid hardware. So that has started giving a visibility among CSR and other entities that, okay, there is some interesting work happening in IIT Kanpur, can we support it? This is more of a famous story that when the ventilators, there were only 9,500 ventilators in the country, and in March 2020, when the COVID happened, the report in the newspaper came that we need 200,000 ventilators, but we were having barely 9,500 ventilators in the entire country. Many hospitals have not even seen the ventilator. So out of the blue, 2 guys came to us and said that, sir, we can create a ventilator. And they were not ventilator specialists or from medical background. They were young graduates who were working on robots for solar farms. And out of the enthusiasm, because everybody was trying to do something, we created a task force of 20 people. And we started working on a Zoom. 27th of March, we did our first Zoom call. And to my surprise, all 20 people, and out of 20 people, like 2 of them are Padma Shri and 1 was Padma Bhushan, very senior folks like came together. And none of us ever seen a ventilator in our life. How do you create something which you have never seen in your life? So that's again sort of a might and a moonshot. We said, okay. So when I asked my Vice President Rahul Patel, I said, Rahul yaar, jara Google images kholo और दिखाओ ventilator दिखता कैसा है. And that was the first time we ever saw a ventilator on Google Images. And again, you will be very proud to know within 60 days time, we build up the ventilator. In 90 days time, the live patients were there on the ventilator. Today, we have sold more than 10,000 ventilators. This 3,000 is a slide prepared when the ventilator book, and it was a best-selling book, was written by Amitabh Bandyopadhyay and Shrikant Shastri. More than 100,000 lives we have saved. More than now 25,000 healthcare professionals have been trained. Not a single adverse impact. The cost of the ventilator is 1/3 of the cost of the ventilator of Siemens and Philips of the world. So when an engineering institution start, and it's a startup, it's a profitable startup, it's a funded startup, they have raised money, they are raising money, they are doing phenomenal job. They are not just working on ventilators, they are working on several others. So there is an opportunity that exists, identifying a problem and trying to build a solution, and then we really go after it, like the professors, the team, everyone just go after that, start finding a solution, because couple of success can make or break your incubator. You can be doing 1,000 companies without any success. Nobody gives a damn. I'm really sorry to use the word, but nobody will give you a damn. What the funding agencies, including the government of India, is looking at, what kind of impact can you create? So there is a company called Phool. You may have seen that is creating incense sticks, agarbatti from the waste flower. This has become quite famous. There is one another company called AIPL, Aquafront Infrastructure. Prime Minister took their name twice in two different cities. There are the maybe 3 or 4 companies in the world which has ability to create a floating gas station on a Khidkiya Ghat. So a number of such examples exist. Alia Bhatt invested in this company. We even played a role in the rescue of Uttarakhand workers. So there is a drone company which played a role into that. So number of such, like we started identifying the problems, we took those problems, we have gone after the problem. Literally, we have gone after the problems and tried to solve collectively those problems. Now, sometimes people ask, like, why you set up a incubator, or why, to take a case study, or why engineering institution will do something in health tech. If you look at the demography and health status, we are the second most populous country in the world, 70% population rural areas. Now 27.5, this is alarming, population below poverty line. Now poverty line means that they don't have access to food and shelter on a continuous basis. So a person below poverty line means that he may eat for a day or he may not eat for a few days. It is entirely possible, and quite possible that he may be living or he may not be living in a pakka house. Now, how do you deal such kind of, like, you require affordable healthcare, and you cannot just give it to health professionals that, okay, that's their responsibility. As an incubator, is your responsibility to take up those challenges, because the devices today, what you look at, are the combination of engineering and medicine. So the COVID has taught us that the Make in India movement has to happen now. It cannot happen in the future. We keep on borrowing the innovation from outside and saying it is, we are very proud of it. Well, I'm really sorry to say, I know it's a government platform, but I would like to give this example. We cannot buying Rafale from outside and feel proud of it. We have to build our own Rafales. If we have to do, and that's thanks to the government, they started the defense tech program. Now there are more than 150 defense companies in the country which are being supported. We are reducing the defense burden from 13% of the import, the worldwide import, to 9% of the worldwide import today. So can we do that? Some of these ideas has to come into the picture. So what we did was we built the whole SIIC into 4 pillars. There's a technology quotient. We have to provide a world-class infrastructure. There has to be access to funding, and there should be a industry and clinical network which should be there. Because clinical trials will take time, industrial trial will take times, your CE certifications, your ISO certifications, everything, IPR protection, everything should be there. Then only you can help your companies. And of course, there has to be various academic and engineering excellence that has to exist. Because without academic participation, incubators will not succeed. Incubators cannot work on silos. So we have a medical school and hospital which is now coming up. We have various departments from IIT Kanpur. We have outstanding lab infrastructure, and we have motivated faculty and scholars who are continuously working with our startups. Now, this is a broad organization structure that we have. We have advisory board, we have board of directors, we have a full-time CEO, which is me. We have a CEO who also act like a CFO, and there are certain departments which are reporting to directly to me, and then the backend departments are reporting to the CEO. So it's a fairly elaborated structure that we have created. There is also we keep on getting certain accolades because of the work that we do from Vice President or Sachin Tendulkar or Amitabh Kant. A number of our incubatees are also recognized the Forbes under 30, practically every year. In 2021, like from 2019, I just told you that we were having barely 100 startups, 20 startups in 2009, 2020, 25 startups. 2021, we hit 100 startups, and now in 2024, as we speak, we have close to 300 currently incubated companies. And in total, we would have graduated 600 plus companies. But the current incubation, the companies which are under our portfolio is more than 300 now. It's a very, and frankly speaking, 300 companies is too much. Maybe 1/3 of the companies I don't remember the names. Like, it's a human thing. You cannot remember every company's name. But some ideas comes in, like it's a responsibility. We also feel that we have to support them in some way or other. And also one thing which I have said earlier, it's a merit-based selection. You need to learn how to say no to ideas. You cannot support every idea. You cannot work with everyone. You cannot, by the virtue of this, I have to build up the companies. I have to create this whole lot of 200 companies, 300 companies. You cannot accept everyone because you will be burned. That's, you take my word for it. You have to be extraordinarily selective. Take 5 companies a year, but make them a hero. Take 10 ideas a year, but make them world class. So this is a complete portfolio for companies. Even after so much of hard work and so much of merit-based selection, many of our companies do extraordinarily well. Many of the companies does not do that well, but that's fine. That's life. That's the market scenario. You cannot do much. You can help the companies in a certain way, but whatever companies you take up, you help them out, because few successful startups can make or break an image of an incubator. So this is it. I'll stop here now, and then we can open up for certain questions.
Garima, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nikhil, for such a wonderful presentation. So, as the floor is open for any further questions, if anybody has any questions, please do ask Professor.
Yeah, Garima. May
Yeah,
I?
yeah, please, Shada. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Shada this side.
Good afternoon, sir.
First of all,
Maybe Shadab can go first and Camellia, you can go second.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. The thing is, just wanted to understand, uh, is any incubator need to follow a strategic thematic base sector to be a successful? That is the first thing, just wanted to understand. And lastly, getting startup to the incubation and supporting to the level of, you can say, scale up, and what would you suggest for the exit strategy on the incubation sustainable point of view? So these two things I wanted to input.
I think very relevant question. Thanks, Adam. So first question is about that whether you want to go broad base or you want to go thematic. My advice to new incubator is, like, don't jump yourself into broad base. The reason is simple. First of all, you will not able to find experts or faculty members or lab support or infrastructure to support the broad base. Like, how do you support from biosciences to artificial intelligence to space technologies to quantum computing to nanotechnology. It is impossible. It is practically impossible. You cannot support. So be selective, I would say. And because you are all of you are running a non-profit entity. So certainly you have a choice of selection. You don't have to get into just getting on the companies, because I have seen many incubators like within NCR or within like UP has 67 incubators, and I can tell you, because UP government we work very closely with, we are mentors to all the incubators, we support them. But innovation and inclusivity, they are not very friendly terms. Innovation, you cannot create inclusive innovation. You cannot expect everybody to be Einstein. Everybody is to be creating a world-class ideas and companies. You have to be a little selective. I know sometimes our government has a different opinion that they want to open up to many incubators. Like UP government, we always say that please don't open one incubator every district, because it is becoming a little bit of a challenge. So same way, even at the AIC level, go selective. Let's say if you are a specialist in fintech, you have 5-7 professors in fintech, go after fintech. Make 1 or 2 companies successful, good in fintech. If you are looking for biosciences, and if you are a medical school having certain biosciences, pick up 2 or 3 companies, take them to clinical trial, provide them certification, start using their services, create a story around it, and then once you start getting to know about those companies, then you can succeed. Getting everyone into the incubator will be a challenging task. Second is the exit strategy for the incubator. So it's a long term. You will not make money by taking startup equity at the initial stage. Certainly, we also take startup equity. I'm not saying we don't take. We do take startup equity. In last 5 years, I have told you the story about like from 20 companies to 300 companies we have built. But if you ask me the honest question, how many companies we have exited? Maybe 2. And that too secondary exit. Only 2 companies we are able to exit in the last 5 years. And because the new investor came and he said that I want a cleaner cap table, I want leaner cap table, I want smaller equity partners to exit. So we made some money, but exiting is a challenging task. You may not get it in your maybe tenure, maybe 10 years down the line, your predecessors will certainly enjoy the fruit, but not immediately. It will not happen. I think Kamila has a question. Then we go to Sanjeev.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Actually,
Thank you
my
for the
questions
inputs.
are answered because I also had the similar question as that of Mr. Sadak Hussain. So
Okay.
thank you, sir, for the answer. Everything is clear. So I have one
Thank
question.
you, sir.
What would be the suggestion that you would like to give us? Like what are the key or unique points that we should look after while selecting a startup? Because we are at IIT ISM Dhanbad, so we have certain mentors in the technical background also, as well as we have some mentors in industry backgrounds as well. So what are the key points that you would suggest us, like while selecting in startups?
So I'll tell you a selection of that. How do we do the selection? So we do the selection at a 3 level. It's a 3-tier structure. The first we have divided the whole incubator into 6 verticals. So we have a clean tech, green tech vertical. We have a defense tech vertical. We have a bio sciences vertical. We have a electronics IoT vertical. We have artificial intelligence as a vertical. So 6 verticals in cybersecurity. We have 6 verticals. So first, let's say that a startup comes in. Within the vertical, they discuss that whether this startup is worthy to be taken to the next level or not. Now, let's say there is a startup in cybersecurity which comes in, and they are doing something in threat intelligence. So the vertical thinks that there's a unique idea, some interesting things are happening. So they to the next level. Now, next level is the internal incubator wide, like everyone from the incubator logs in and we debate that whether this startup is worthy. And because see, we are also a larger team, so we also keep on hearing what's going on in the market. You need to keep your eyes and ear open. okay, this idea is interesting. It may be ideas exist, but it is interesting to take it to the next level. And we want to hear the founder. We want to talk to the founder. And now at this IST stage, the vertical make a presentation to the entire incubator staff, including myself and the professor in charge, and to convince us. And so it's an internal selling that happens. They have to convince us that we should be able to take to the next level. And then we decide internally whether we would like to meet the founder face to face or not. Now by then, I would say 85% companies are gone, because the scrutiny happens at this level. Now 15% companies, 10 to 15% of company, we say, okay, we will take them to the next level, which is called EEC, External Evaluation Committee. Now that's a fairly large committee where our role become negligible. Incubator role, staff role become negligible. We invite few professors, we invite few industry experts, we invite few investors, and we make a group of 10, 12 experts, either online and offline. Nowadays, we are trying to do it offline. And we bring this startup on a face-to-face conversation for half an hour to 1 hour. Then we evaluate on a various parameters, whether this company, can we help them technologically? Is the founders, even if we are able to, some founders say, okay, we want to build up a space rocket, but now the founders does not have a background. You may be a great passionate guy, but the passionate guy also need technological skills. So he may not be having that idea, and IIT Kanpur also does not have that kind of expertise. We say, unfortunately, we cannot help you. From the investor perspective, whether this company is investable, because see, even today, if I give 50 lakhs of BIRAC fund or 30 lakhs of SSS or EIR or AIC fund, I provide him 1 crore or so for the grant, but this company is not further investable, then is the government money waste? So we have to be very careful about it, like, because it's your money, my money, it's a hard-earned money from the taxpayers. We cannot just give it to any company which is non-investable. So we look at from the investors perspective, whether this company in the future can be raise money from angel investors or the investors. Investability is the second criteria. Third is the mentorability. There are a lot of startups comes with a rigid mindset. Whatever I am doing is great. I am in love my idea. I cannot change. I cannot pivot. I have to do whatever I want. Now that is what we call unmentorable startups. Now my honest advice to be, if you find an unmentorable startup founder, जिस रास्ते वो जा रहा है उससे उल्टे रास्ते भाग लो. Don't even bother to go on that route. That is a recipe of a disaster. Unmentorable startup is a typical recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, so this happens sometimes. Yes.
बिल्कुल भाग लो. मैं बता रहा हूँ, मैं आपको हिंदी में बिल्कुल कानपुर की देशी भाषा में बता रहा हूँ, बिल्कुल उल्टा भाग लो. उसकी तरफ जाओ मत. You want to work with a little bit technology you can do something, but the startup is mentorable. And we have seen in the case of Fool or in Noka Robotics, I just told you, he was building robots for cleaning solar panels, and he pivoted, he listened to us, he worked with us, and now it's a medtech company, a successful medtech company. He has pivoted. So if there is a talent, the company is able to get mentorship, company is investable, and there is something which we can also help out. We take this company in. So that's the way we evaluate the company. So good selection is also one of the method of getting success. Okay, I have hands from Dr. Sanjeev and then from Mr. Srinivas.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I'd like to know what kind of different strategy can we have for tier 2 towns so that we are able to attract as well as make startups investable, because that's a kind of startups which are indeed investable kind. Although we can get the numbers, but not the investable startups. And if there are, they tend to migrate to kind of larger. So what kind of different strategy can adopt?
Now, there's another interesting question that you asked about the tier 2 town. So there is support coming in from the tier 2 town. There are a number of grants which are there exclusively for tier 2 towns. MIT has just come up with a grant exclusively for tier 2 incubators and tier 2 towns. The local government, like state governments, are also supporting it. Now, my suggestion would be, if you are into tier 2 towns and you are facing challenge of finding good quality startup, try to talk to your local administrators, let's say municipality or the district magistrate or the police personnel, and solve the problems, or any industry which you have locally, and try to solve, because your market will be initially local market. You cannot take your startup immediately start selling in Mumbai and Delhi and Hyderabad. So try to solve the problem locally. And if there is a product or service which can work locally, in fact, you'll be surprised to know that India still has more number of tier 2 town, and it's a fact. More number of tier 2 towns and tier 3 towns than tier 1 towns. Tier 1 towns are like how many? 5, 10 of them, perhaps. So there is a more market. That means like then there is a more T2, T3 town. That means there is a more market to sell your product or service. So if you are able to create a solution for your local market which works in T2, T3 towns, and the idea is that you can replicate in 10 more towns or 15, 20 more towns. That's the kind of solution you should look at initially. That will be a great way of marketing yourself. And believe me, people and particularly the district administration, the local administration, whether it's hospital or, they are very, very open to the ideas which is coming from the incubators. So you should approach them. Number of times they also don't know that there is so much of work is happening. So kindly talk to them, and I'm sure they can help out. Srinivas, I think we don't have much time. So Srinivas, one more question.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor, for sharing the exercises journey. I have two quick questions. One is like you told us different verticals that are running under your. So out of that bioscience, basically, especially I'm interested in because we focus pharma healthcare. And I would like to know your progress for bioscience.
Srinivas, unfortunately, your voice is not clear. If you can type your question, that will be useful. I just understood biosciences and you want something.
Yeah, I want to know the program structure for your bioscience.
I'm unable to get the question. Your voice is not clear.
Srinivas sir, if you can just write or type in, because your voice is very muffled. We cannot hear it.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, I was just curious to know the program structure of the bioscience vertical that IIT is running.
So there is no specific program structure, like we don't run cohorts on biosciences. We do have certain schemes which are like Sparsh Fellowship, which are run in a cohort format, but we does not follow a cohort structure. So depending on the problem, biosciences could have a lot of problems, problems which require solution. Somewhere you require animal testing, somewhere you require medical support, somewhere you require mechanical engineering support, somewhere you require, you are building up a database from cybersecurity perspective. So a different kind of structure exists. There is no set structure or set cohort that we follow for biosciences.
Sure. Quickly, how long a startup stays?
Yes, that is another interesting question. So biosciences, we give up to 5 years of incubation support, plus 2 years, because biosciences companies can take a bit of time. For normal companies, it is 2 years and plus 1 year extra. And there are certain companies which are further developing their product, or they come with a new product, their incubation support may be extended. So that's a policy we have.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Good
Yeah,
evening,
Vishnu.
Vishnu. Sorry.
Yes,
Sorry
Vishnu,
for coming late.
please.
So
No
I just
problem.
had one question. Like, you have a very huge team, as you when you were presenting. So my question is like, being in the startup ecosystem, what kind of employee engagement you do for your internal team, and what kind of capacity building kind of activities you do, because you have portfolio teams separately, right? So we are now a growing incubator, so that would help us to know.
Yeah, so we do provide L&D support. Like not every team member is expert in everything. For example, the startups are asking about how to create their PPTs, how to build the term sheet, how to read what is the meaning of investments, the different kind of compliance which are needed. Also, a number of team members may not be equipped for a very technical kind of role. So we also help them in doing certain courses related technology. Like when the AI was there, I asked a number of my team members to go through a course of AI from IIT Madras. It was a free of cost course on Coursera. So they have gone through the 13 weeks of training at IIT Madras. So that way we encourage team members. Also, there is a cross-functional support that happens. And we run number of mentor workshops across the year. We encourage our team members to join those workshops, because see, unless you start thinking like a startup, you cannot think like a academic institution or think like a Sarkari Babu. Here you have to think like a startup, because you are working with startups. So you have to be on your feet. You have to have those kind of answers. Today, the startup says that, okay, I have to apply for a GST. What I should do? You should, ideally, I'm not saying every time is idle. Ideally, the portfolio manager should have answer for it. And a startup say, okay, I'm looking for a certification. Uh, what should I do? The portfolio manager should have answer for that. So you are sort of a knowledge base for your startup, and that's the kind of startup is looking at. So my suggestion to most of the incubators is that uh, uh, you may groom your people for financial side of it. Extremely important that how to create a UC, how to create business plans, what is the meaning of a term sheet, how the SSHs are drafted. You don't have to draft it, but at least you should be sensitized. You should be aware about how to do all this. If you are aware, then your life becomes a little easy.
Thank you. And just one last one. So, do you have any specific alumni engagement program with your institute, or is it anything that you do to tap the alumni of the institute to get
Yes,
into
yes,
the
we do.
ecosystem?
Yes, yes. There is a very deep alumni engagement that happens. In fact, this is a season of alumni engagement which is going on, which will end now in March. So every year, number of alumni groups comes for their 20th reunion or 25th reunion or 50th reunion. So we present about SIAC to them, and also continuously alumni keeps on coming to the institute and talking to our startups. Many alumni are also mentors to the startups. Many alumni are also the investors to the startups. So we encourage that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I think we are also on time. Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please
Hello.
present. Yeah.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is only one question. Means you are doing very good, sir. Means as IIT has very good name and fame, no issue. But sir, for the community, means nearby villages, nearby people, means how you means conduct the events and what is the motive behind this, sir? For
We
the
do
nearby
keep
villages.
on, yeah, we keep on inviting, particularly for the UP-based incubators, we keep on doing
Yes.
many events. So recently the government asked us to conduct workshop for the agri incubators. We did that. Before that, 2 years back, the government asked us to train all new incubators, 40 plus incubators. At that time, there were 40 incubators. So we invited them to IIT Kanpur, and we conducted a free of cost workshop. We never charge any penny from the government or the incubator. For 1 week, on our own cost, we did that. And we keep on doing many events, activities. So we encourage incubators to talk to us if you are facing any challenge or something. If you wish to come as a delegation to visit and talk to our people, so those things are more than welcome. We'll try to help you, because see, if we have to solve the problem about Make in India or Innovate in India, one IIT or 10 IITs cannot do this. It is impossible. The humongous country we have today, it is impossible to solve the problem by few institutions. We have to collectively work as a Bharat. We have to collectively work as India to solve this problem. And that's the reason I encourage you to think about how you can solve one problem. Today we are 20, 30 people. If we can solve one problem a day, one problem a year, we will solve 20 problems by the end of this year. Otherwise, there is a competition of which company is doing good or which company is not doing good. Don't worry about try to find a solution which will be beneficial for our country, for our state, for our people. And also this solution can be commercialized. That's your successful startup. If you are able to focus that, I am sure you will do a great job. And not only one incubator can become great, as a collective incubation community, we can become great, because the competition is not within the country. Competition is outside. There are countries, there are states, there are companies which are doing today more than what the Indian economy is. Like, it's a shameful situation. There are companies are becoming 3 trillion economy, $3 trillion companies. Our whole Indian economy, 1.4 billion people economy, the 3 trillion economy. How do we catch that? It's a collective challenge, my dear. It's a collective challenge. I'm giving you a broader perspective. It is not about your institute. It's not about our IIT. It's a collective challenge. If we have to become a 10 trillion economy, have to become 30 trillion economy, we have to start working as a community. So my honest and really advice to you that work with each other, collaborate with each other, try to find that this incubator do well, this particular thing I should not be doing, but I should collaborate with them. That's how this, so organizations like AIM can provide you an umbrella. AIM is not to divide you, that there is AIC1 or AIC2. That's the reason organization like AIM was built up, to provide an umbrella, and to collectively we do certain things. Collectively we can create certain very outstanding idea which can be beneficial for our country.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Professor, for. I think we'll just close off the meeting now. If any other questions are there, maybe you can reach out to Professor. If you want to, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, you can share my email ID. I'll share with you on the WhatsApp.
Sure. So I'll share the email ID, and then you can maybe get in touch with the professor. And thank you so much, sir, for joining us in this Friday forum and giving us the insight about the best practices of IIT Kanpur.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.